Good morning, it's Chris from Clearly Crafted. How is everyone today? It's a little rainy here today in New Jersey. It's also St. Patrick's Day, so here's wishing everyone a little bit of luck. I'm not doing anything for St. Patrick's today, and in fact we are still working on our little glass votive here that has the iris on it on the front. And then it's got the daffodils and violets in the back. Very, very springy piece. This is the one with the new technique where it's a combination of mulberry paper and rice paper. Mulberry paper and chalk paint. This is rice paper, the design. So right now I'm getting ready to go to my next step. This has 2 coats of Mod Podge on it over the chalk paint and the iridescent medium that was dabbed on. I don't know. Let's see if you can see it there. Kind of gives you this little lace effect. So I like to paint, some of these I like to paint the top and bottom. I think of it as like a frame. So you have a beautiful picture, it looks great, you know, it's plain, then you put this amazing frame around it and it just really pops. So you saw that with the pink piece. The pink one with the tulips that I showed in the first video has already gone to its new home, so I don't have that anymore. But I want to show you the purple top and bottom here because I had a couple people asking how I did that. So I have 2 different paints here that I'm using. I really like to use the metallics on these, especially if I'm going to be doing a gloss finish on it. I think the metallic looks really neat. I have, and these are the 2 paints that I'm going to use today. So I have just an acrylic purple. I like these Artesia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Their metallics are really neat. This is not metallic. This is just a flat purple. And then this folk art is the metallic, and that's got a lot of shine to it. You can see that one over here. That one's really going to be cute. So I'm going to actually put just the plain on the bottom, I think, and then I'll go over it with the metallic. And this is, again, one of those where, you know, I have to do it and then put it to dry. So we will start with just some basic, and I love these little pounder sponges. They do really, really well. And I use 2 different sizes. This size I'll use on the rim because it's much more controlled, because around the rim you definitely want to be more careful. And then this one will be for the base. So I'm going to see how this goes on with just, oh, you know what? Nope, I'm just going to use the metallic. I don't need to use the other one. This one covers really well. So, and you know, this isn't anything exciting. It'll probably take 2 coats though. Usually I do 2. I do the basic bottom first. I'm going to need a lot more paint. Look at the color with that. That'll be a little pop purple. Really pull out the purple and the flowers. Excuse me, I tend to put things in my mouth and not thinking I'm the worst. I usually have a paintbrush or something. My granddaughter did it the one day, and she put the wrong end of the paintbrush in her mouth, trying to be like my mom, and had a mouthful of paint. They're all non-toxic. When my daughter-in-law's watching, I'm like, it's non-toxic. I like to paint with my granddaughter when she comes over. I have to be careful for a little while there. This is her bedroom here at the house. That is also doubles as my craft room. I'm sure many of us have, you know, we don't always get a dedicated space. That's the wish. So this is our spare bedroom, but it's also my granddaughter's room, and she likes to get on the phone with me and you know, ask to see it. And right now, last night she wanted to see her room, and I was like, uh-oh, she's not going to be happy about this. I have stuff everywhere in here. It's all over. And she was like, Mama, my room is a mess. So I will have to clean it up. All right, so now when I'm doing this edge, I already have the white down. And just want to watch where your hands are. this is covering really nicely. And I usually slowly go up the side because then I decide how high I want it to show. Do I want it, you know, more like, oh, purple, or just, oh, a little purple there? Like more of an accent versus, you know, a bold. And I will look at it and you can see, like, probably maybe up a little more. And then I like it. That's one thing that's neat about the pounder sponge. It's not a perfect line. So it gives it almost a little feathering. I will tell you sometimes these shiny and metallic paints take a little longer to dry. And I try and avoid using too much of a heat gun or a hairdryer. I do have a hairdryer that has a cool setting. One thing that I noticed, you know, think about it, when we use heat and hot water and stuff, it helps, you know, you can take stuff off and you can clean it and you can pull it off. And Mod Podge doesn't do well with heat. It will peel. So what I found was I was using it to dry some pieces on tile, and because tile holds heat, it would get warm, and I was finding I actually had bubbles after the fact. So it definitely concerns me using it too much on a piece like this. Would my paper start to bubble or pull up? I'm much more of an air dry kind of person. That's why I'm usually working on more than one piece at a time, so I'll put it down and stop playing with it. Yeah, see, that just gives you that little bit of purple bottom there. And then when we do the top edge, that will really look nice there. And now I'm gonna just carefully hold this. I can't tell you how many times I've taken and stuck my hand in the paint and so annoy myself and spread it. So I want to make sure I'm holding it here. But you even have to watch when you're holding something like this. The heat from your hand can suddenly, if you notice that like you're holding something and you're working on it and then all of a sudden it starts to feel sticky, it's because the heat and the moisture from your hand can actually reactivate the glue. I know it sounds goofy, but these are just little things that like, oh, I just left a fingerprint in that because, you know, my sweaty hot hand, because I'm trying to hold it and not drop it. Any other time I have freezing cold hands, all my patients yell. I'm always apologizing for having such cold hands. The patient the other day asked me to run my hands under warm water. I felt so bad. And that's through gloves, so you know my hands are cold. You know, and you get all those nice patients that are like, oh, cold hands, warm heart. I'm like, no, cold hands, colder feet. That's what my husband says. So we're going to work on this top rim. And we're just going to do a light coat because I want to see how far it's going to go down. So you're just starting gently. It's not like this is a one and done. So it's a couple trips around the rim. Oh, but I love that color. And I don't want it to go too far inside either because, you know, these, while they're little and people call them votives, this would be a really pretty little vase too. If the kids, you know, this time of year, you have got the little tiny crocus that are coming up. The smaller flowers, you know, we see these great big vases with the long, gorgeous flowers, which are lovely. But then, you know, like what about the little flowers? The small daffodils, the ones that don't have that great big long stem that can support hanging out with all the big boys. These little things are easily used as a vase. So, excuse one of my dogs is whining. My one dog, the Newfoundland, she's a big hairy girl. She just got shaved and now she's spending more time outside running around like a puppy. I think she's not real hot anymore. She doesn't look the best, but she's feeling good. So this is just doing a little bit. I want it to come down just a little bit further. So I'm going to end up going around a little more and then I'm going to angle. Can you see what I'm doing there? Just want to make sure you can see. I always joke on my videos, my kids will be like, Mom, you don't, There's a lot of the craft videos people like show themselves working on. I said, they don't want to see me. They just want to see the project. I said, it also is a reason then I can be in my pajamas and my hair's a mess. And see, this is just this lightest touch. You're just getting like a defined edge. When you're using this too, sometimes I will, you know, make sure that my paint isn't too heavily. If I'm worried about it, I'm going to dab it first on the plate. I use a lot of paper plates. I just buy the cheapo ones. They're actually recyclable. Even once they have the acrylic paint on them, you can just throw in your recycling. And it's just the old cheap ones that, you know, when I was a kid back in the 70s, that was what my aunt always had. We always got everything on paper plates while we were out running around with all the other kids. There. I was a little annoyed with that edge. And then you're going to look for it to be even coverage. Like, that's what I'm looking for. And you can see now it has that little bottom and top edge. Look, it just finishes the piece. I just, you know, sometimes we're looking at our pieces and we're like, oh, I feel like it needs something. And then we start adding more things to it that, you know, just are things that we don't care. Sometimes it's just a little touch that you're looking for. It's not a big, like, an additional piece of napkin or additional design or, you know, a bunch of all kinds of other things. Sometimes it's just the little fine details. So now this guy's going to go on my drying rack. I really want to let it dry. I will put another coat of purple here on the bottom just because it's going to sit on there. This will get 2 little feet and then a little sign that's my, just says that it was made by me. But how cute is that? And then I will spray it. I'm not going to spray it on camera. I will probably do one more coat of Mod Podge on this to seal these edges and the bottom. Do a little bit of sanding, and then I'm going to spray it with gloss. After I've sprayed it with gloss, we'll come back and I'll show it and we'll talk about it. But this is generally the basis of how I made it. All right. All right. That's it for me. Have a happy St. Patty's Day and happy crafting.